Music.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, Tiki Live, Rumble, iTunes, TuneIn, and more. I am Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah. I'm here because I'm on a happy 88 mission. 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. So I bring you topics and guests to that end because I don't want any gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk at all. I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And today I'm so delighted. We've been waiting for this interview for a little bit. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I met my very special guest on the red carpet, or just slightly off the red carpet. I didn't really know who he was. He was on the carpet. I saw him taking pictures with the Temptations. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to get to know this guy. And I put my microphone in his mouth and then said, "Hi, I'm Dr. Marissa. And who are you?" And he told me, to my delight, that he was the grandson of the founder of the Temptations, Otis Williams, who still, after 60 years, is still singing "My Girl." And I thought it was my imagination that I got to interview the Temptations backstage, thanks to Trace, but it was not. But please do welcome to my studio the grandson of Otis Williams of the Temptations, Trace Austin. Good morning, Trace.
Good morning, Marissa. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. Delighted.
And I am so delighted as well. And if you could sit just a little closer to the camera, I'm not getting full volume, and I want to make sure that I catch every word beautiful. And so I have not an answering machine. I have a questioning machine. And when you call me, it says, "Who are you? And what do you want?" So Trace Austin, who are you? And what do you want?
So my name's Trace Austin. I'm a music artist, originally from London. Now I live in LA. I travel a lot because I still go back to London. I moved back. I was born there, but I moved back at the age of 6 or 7. So what I want to make an impact on people. I want people to hear my music and hear the passion I put into it. I want to help people around the world and inspire other kids to do what I'm doing. So
fantastic. And how young are you?
I'm 18, so I'm still young.
It is. You are. And 8 is a lucky number in Chinese. It's a homophone for good fortune. So this is definitely your good fortune year. And I know that you're just continuing to love what you're doing. And we're going to get into that. But before we do, I love to start every show with breakfast with my guest. And we take a bite out of my gratitude sandwich. So, and I just sprung this on him. Normally I do this on my own, but when I have special guests that I like to do it with, this is what we do. Instead of starting the day doing what I've heard is called doom scrolling about all the bad news, Instead, I want you to focus on what's good in your life, what's good with the world. And so I do 8 gratitudes every morning, and I'm going to split it. So the top of the bun is the gratitudes, the bottom of the bun is what you appreciate about yourself. So I didn't want to give you too much time to think about it too, because it has to be spontaneous. So I'm going to start. I am grateful for meeting Trace on the carpet and getting to interview his grandfather's group. So that's my first gratitude. And you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for meeting you on the red carpet. That was a great time. Everybody connected. Everybody was so energetic and, so polite. So I'm grateful for that. And
Beautiful.
I'm grateful to be
And then I go back and then you go. I'm grateful that St. Joseph's is doing such a great job helping the homeless continue to do so 45 years later. And it was actually their 45th anniversary celebration that we were both at. I was opening for your grandfather's group with the Agape International Choir, and Martin Sheen was there. I got a little soundbite with Jimmy Kimmel. Lots of support for this very worthy organization. Ty is the one who actually got the choir there, and does the marketing. And so shout out to him as well for having me on the red carpet, even though I was technically just there to sing. But it was a great time. So I'm grateful for St. Joseph's. And you're grateful for?
Yes, I'm also grateful that I was at St. Joseph's. What they're doing is so great, how they're helping the homeless with housing, food. I'm grateful I got to, because that was my first time, being on the carpet with my grandfather. So I'm grateful that we were able to share that experience together. We were able to take pictures, talk to people. And I was grateful I got to see him perform, because, of course, I've seen him perform many times before. But, that was the first time in a while. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great. How old were you, while we're on this, so I don't forget to ask you, when you first saw your grandfather perform?
I was about 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
About the age of 6, yes.
Beautiful. So gratitude number 6 is I am grateful that the planets didn't crash into each other last night and we're alive today with a whole 24 hours in front of us to do creating and innovating and laughing and talking and respecting and holding and hugging. And you're grateful for?
And I'm grateful for all the blessings that God has given me. Being able to thrive, being here today, him giving me the tools to thrive, be creative, and do what I do best. I give all thanks to him. So that's what I'm grateful for.
Beautiful. And that segues us into the appreciation. And the reason why I do appreciation is because a lot of us, not you, have a difficult time acknowledging, which you just did perfectly, what they're good at. And a lot of us have that voice in our head that tells us we're not good enough, or we're not smart enough, or we're not thin enough, or whatever that is. And so we go looking for love in all the wrong places. So I ask my listeners, as well as my coaching clients, to really work that muscle of appreciation. So I appreciate that I have no problems talking. So that's I appreciate that. And you appreciate?
And I appreciate, well, I'm a talker too. So I do appreciate that. But I also appreciate that I'm able to, create with music and be versatile, do many different genres. And I'm also grateful for I can get on stage and perform. I'm a pretty good performer.
And you don't have to look at people, naked in order to do that. Right. Yeah. And I appreciate that I don't get nervous most of the time. It's rare that I do, but I have to admit, when you got me backstage with your grandfather in the group, I had a moment of OMG right at the beginning, which was good. Keeps me humble. All right. And I appreciate that I'm funny. And I love laughter's my favorite sound. And I'm grateful. I appreciate that I own my funny, because my husband That's my word for ex-husband. He told me I was not funny like almost every day. So the best thing about divorce is I get to own my funny. And the last appreciation for you?
And last appreciation for me, I would say is, to be able to share moments with my family and to be able to hang out with friends, catch up with
Yeah.
old friends.
All right. And there is our breakfast of gratitude sandwich. And thank you so much, Trace, for playing and having breakfast with me.
Yes.
And now let's just launch into, wow, your music. You're 18. How long have you been doing music? Like, at what age did you go, you know what? I'm going to go and follow my grandfather's footsteps?
Well, I've always had music in me. From when my grandfather brought me on stage at the age of 6, we were in Ontario, California, and I saw the crowd going crazy for him. All ages, young people, much older people, and they were all inspired by him, and he moved all these people. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is what I really want to do. So I would say about the age of 9 is when I really started to do music. I have a couple music videos from when I was 9 on YouTube.
Oh,
You
really?
can find them, but they're
Can
pretty
I find
cool.
them?
Yeah, you
I
can
wonder-
find Trace Austin, but I used to go by Swaggy T.
Swaggy T. Is
Yes.
it on as Swaggy T?
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
YouTube, Swaggy T.
Maybe I'll look for them during break. But
Yes.
so when you were on stage, and that's interesting because I was born in Ontario, but not California, Ontario,
wow.
Canada. Yeah, another thing that's we've had that connection from moment I met you. These like odd connections, which I love. So you got on stage. What song did you know he was going to bring you on stage?
Beforehand, I kind of guessed he was going to bring me on stage, but once he actually brought me on, I was so excited and I was so nervous at the same time because I was still young. So I didn't really comprehend what was going on. And then
Right.
he brought me out. All the members held hands and they bowed down to the crowd. They let me do a little segment where I did a little dance on stage, and then all the ladies were like yelling, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is something I really want to do." So it was really cool being on stage with him as such a young kid and
That's
looking back
awesome.
on it now.
Which song did you sing with them?
I'm pretty sure it was My Girl they performed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. That's
Yes.
wonderful. So then you about 9, what did you pick up an instrument? Did you start singing? What was that?
Well, at the age of 10, I started playing drums. So I
Okay.
started taking drum lessons, and I
Any
did a
particular reason you picked drums?
I would say I gravitated towards it. My mom bought me a drum set at a young age, my mom and my cousin. And from there, I just started playing around with it. I started taking lessons with a few people. And as I got older and older, I got even better. I take lessons today. I play the drums all the time, and I incorporate that into my music. So,
Is it because drummers usually get the most attention from the girls?
I'd say a little bit of that.
Beautiful. And let's see. What has your grandfather taught you about music?
Well, my grandfather's taught me no matter what, you always have to put in hard work, always have to be persistent with the music that you're putting out. He's taught me don't have a one track mind. Make music that appeals to everybody all around the world. If you want to make a change, you have to be unique. You have to stand out from the crowd. Be business smart, because a lot of artists have gotten screwed over by not having their business lined up. So he said, always take care of business, always own your publishing rights, and always make sure you're watching everything that your team is doing. Even though they're your team and they do it for you, always watch it for yourself and kind of just watch people in general.
Interesting. So yeah, and that thereby that answers a question of what has kept the Temptations so successful so consistently after 60 years. I just saw that they're on the program at an organization that is one of my sponsors, the Saban Theater, that they're going to be there in January. So I get to see you then.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I they give me tickets, and sometimes maybe I'll get to talk to your grandfather again. But I just love the fact he's how old is he now?
He's 80. So
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, 60 years of performing is what he said on stage. I was just blown away. That's just
yes.
amazing. Absolutely. So tell me about your music. So you cover a wide genre. You follow your grandfather's advice, smart. And what would you say? Do you have a favorite?
My favorite genre, I don't really have one because I always I do hip hop, pop, alternative. I just did a song that's kind of like an island Jamaican song almost, kind of like
Ah,
Afrobeat, because that Afrobeat movement is really getting popular, and you hear it everywhere now. So I did a song, kind of experiment with that,
all
and
right.
I love all genres. Anything that has to do with music, I'm always open to making a different sound and standing out. So
There you go. There you go. So I'm going to see if I can tease him into sharing that song, a little bit of it, when we come back from break. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering what amazing talent I'm talking to, he is direct lineage from the founder of the Temptations. His name is Trace Austin. He's delightful. And I wanted to share him and his music today on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. We'll be right back on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. What if conforming to the world was exploring the world? What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into how many streets of life do you want to explore? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time, have relationships that we enjoy most of the time, and use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death? What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? The sooner you turn, it's impossible, to I'm possible, the what ifs become possible too. Because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of bed and making it. What if starts with
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News radio station, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and more. On my YouTube channel, you can actually watch and listen and interact. So if you're watching right now or listening and you want to get on and chat with Trace Austin, my very special guest today, grandson of the legendary Temptations founder, Otis Williams, then go ahead and come to YouTube or my Facebook, and you can chat and comment and we can say hello. And in fact, looks like we do have a comment here, and it says, awesome teacher from dad, Three Symphonies Culture Channel. So thank you for tuning in and thank you for that compliment. And we're going to actually show the interview that Trace got me backstage with his grandfather, as well as the entire Temptations when they were backstage right before they went on. And let's see if we can get that to play easily. Here we go. And good evening. I'm Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah, and I am so honored to be here with the Temptations. Legend. So I don't have an answering machine, it's a questioning machine. So when you call me, it says, who are you and what do you want? So who are you and what do you want?
Well, we are the Temptations and we want to sing and please everybody.
Polly, can you
Very good job of that.
adjust?
I'm Otis Williams.
And I'm Ron Tyson.
I am Terry Weeks. And I'm Tony Grant. And actually, there's 5 of us. But I'm fifth.
Oh, so he's late. Does he get docked?
Not this time. Not this time.
So what do you think is the best advice to give people right now who are not feeling like they are going to make it? Because there's a lot of sad people out there. What would you say to make them have hope?
What we would say was, if you can find your way to a temptation show, you're guaranteed to lift your spirits.
That's right.
Absolutely. That's what we're here.
Yeah. How do you keep going? I mean, you're like ageless, like me. But what's your secret?
Well, we love what we do. It just starts there.
Yeah.
You know, and we're blessed and love what we do for 60 years. Yeah, so like we said, we're going to ride the hell off the horse. And when we get off the horse, it's going to be ball. That's a lot of riding.
Well, thank you so much for spending a minute. I know you have to go on stage. If you could just do this with me. This is what I do at the end of every show. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace.
Okay.
This is Dr. Marissa reporting live with the Temptations. So honored and just wish you the best. Go break a leg.
Thank you.
I'm muted. Thank you, Polly. And that is one of my favorite up there with Quincy Jones when I got to interview him. And that is on my YouTube channel. If you want to see that interview again, as well as my one with Trace and his beautiful mom. And your dad was the videographer, gets photo credit for that. Just go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, and you'll get those there. Trace, when you, I can't even imagine, when you brought on stage, you knew at that point that your grandfather was famous.
Oh,
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you ever, does it ever, how do I say this without making it sound negative? So you get recognized as I'm saying, you're the grandson of Otis Williams. And do you wonder if your music is helped by that or hurt by that, or how is that connection?
No, I definitely think my music is helped by that. You know, my grandfather he's told me, you know, as he's in the business, he's passing me the torch as well. So, you know, everything that he teaches me and everything that he guides me through and gives me, I look at that as, you know, a blessing. I think it's great that people see me as his grandson. They get to hear my music. And, we have two different sounds. So it's like older generation, younger generation. So that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah, that is super cool. I'm glad you said that. Sometimes people are a little bit strange about stuff like that. So I just wanted to clear, and I knew that you would be saying that it is truly a blessing. And your mom was cute. In her interview, she said, the music gene skipped a generation. So, but it was fascinating. At some point, I want to have you and her come back on because she has stories. What stories has she shared with you that has sort of surprised you?
She shared so many stories. I mean, stories for days. I would say, she's told me how it was growing up as a kid, how she traveled everywhere with my grandfather, the people she knew. So that was pretty fascinating to me to know. Like, I even asked her, how did it feel growing up with him, being, the notoriety he has? And she always says, it was really a great experience.
Great. Like who? Who did she meet that she was fascinated with?
So many people, but I know she met Michael Jackson. She told me once she met Michael Jackson, she was like, "Oh wow!" And then she used to tell my grandfather, she used to be like, "I love Michael Jackson. So if you see him, take me with you."
She knew how to use the inside track there, huh?
Yeah.
Is she saying something now? Was that her that just commented?
Yeah, she's right here.
Come on in. If you want to come in, come on in. I was going to ask you at a separate date, but I just loved meeting her. Here she comes. Yay, Mom. Did you hear it?
I'm hiding.
Good morning. Did you hear me mention your name?
I don't get up this early, so I try to stay over there because I was drinking coffee. So I'm like, shh, don't say I'm
Too late.
here.
I am happy and grateful, and I'm so glad that you're here. It was just lovely meeting you on the carpet, and I'm so grateful that I got to connect and I get to text your son, and he's so wonderful. You did such a good job, Mom.
Thank
you.
He's
We're
so
grateful
polite.
to meet you. Your energy is so good, and I was so drawn to you because you had this fabulous outfit on and your hair, and I kept looking at you and go, who is that fabulous woman?
Oh, I love you too, and you're just gorgeous. Just like, look at it. She's no makeup and she's still gorgeous. First thing in the morning, no coffee, still gorgeous. But you also have that light, and I saw that. It's so important right now that we all shine our light, because there's so much darkness around, and there's so many people highlighting what's wrong that we just have to do double duty. And so I love meeting people who have that light as well. So
I think the positive energy, because there's so much darkness, I think all the positive light seekers are going to find each other, because that's how we're going to heal, and that's how we're going to save this spiritual warfare that we're having right now. I think the light people will gravitate to each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So your son just told me, answered the question, but I want you to answer that question, because you told me about Dinah Shore, but I want you to just free form and tell me all the people that you got to meet and anything that surprised you. Not all. We're not here for 10 hours. And I do want to hear Trace's music. So
it was kind of a normal thing to me. Like, I had a couple of friends, because I started modeling at a young age, and I had a lot of people would just come over my house. So when I would go out with my friends and we would be out in public, people would come up and say hi to me. And my friends first didn't believe me. I would go, I know this person and I know that person. Like, yeah, right. So my dad was friends with Eddie Murphy, and he was friends with Irvin Johnson. He used to come to my house because they were my parents' friends. And one of the my son's kind of too old, but people said he reminded me of him of the DeBarges. I grew up with them. So before they got a record deal, they used to come over my house all the time because I was friends with them. And they used to say, oh, I'm going to get a record deal. And I'm like, yeah, right. Because they were just my friends. And then they grew up. I mean, there was just kind of a normal thing. I'd go roller skating. Janet Jackson used to roller skate. I never forget Michael Jackson. He told you I love Michael Jackson. He was in the roller skating rink. And I was a really good skater, and Janet and I used to see her in the valley all the time, and she would kind of gravitate to me because she knew I was Otis's daughter and the girl that could skate. And I was just like, "Where's your brother?" No, I know Prince. I mean, I knew Prince. There's a lot of people but it was just kind of normal because when we would go, they knew Otis because he was like, they were the first Black boy band, really.
Right. Yeah. That's
I didn't think anything of it. I don't think Trace really realized how well known he was until like the NBC movie came on, the Temptation movie. And then he's like, oh, and this was not that long ago. This was just a few years ago. He goes, he's really, really famous. I was like, yeah, more than you realize.
Do you remember that moment, Trace?
Yeah, I do. I remember sitting in the bedroom and the documentary came on. I had heard about it, but once it came on and I watched the whole thing, I saw the feedback it was getting, and I was just like, wow. That's when it really set in. I knew he was big, but that's when it really set in of the status he was on.
We did this show called Home Sweet Home. It was on about 7 months ago. It was an Ava DuVernay show on NBC, and it was a house swap, kind of like wife swap. So the family that stayed here, we had to go to their house. They had to come vice versa. And the people were into music. And there was an episode, the part of the show that I thought was really cool, that my father came to the house. So they had to do everything that we did. And when the guy opened the door and introduces himself, my father introduces himself to him, it took him a minute and he fanned out. My best friend came when they were filming the show, said, well, her father is pretty famous. You'll see. And he's like, well, who is he? And then when he opened the door, he goes, the Otis Williams. It was the cutest thing because the guy was so excited. And Otis loved it too. It was really funny because he got it.
Oh, that's so great. That is so great. Were you surprised at Prince? What happened?
I was surprised. Yeah, my father was like, "Oh, okay." I went out with him a couple of times. He was really he was really funny. So people think he was weird, but he wasn't at all. He was actually a really funny, down to earth guy. And everyone that knows me knows I like to eat. So one of the things that I would get teased about, like, you like to eat, huh? Because I was like hungry. I'm like, can we go eat?
That's so cute. I actually met him in New York when I was modeling, and I was struck by two things. He's really small, and he had on giant platforms, and he had makeup. So those two things kind of, okay.
Anyway. He was masculine. Like, he wore the high heel shoes, and he wore the makeup, but was masculine at the same time. I don't know how many people can pull that off.
Yeah,
that was everyone. The guys there were more back in the 80s and 90s were more metrosexual, so they wore the makeup and the eyeliner. Right. Now the guys wear dresses sometimes.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So I mean, like the rappers. I don't mean like people that are. I don't care if they're trans or LGBT. I'm talking about like hardcore, like rapper guys wear dresses. So I guess
right. Yes, because we value the diversity, and it is Gay Pride Month. Thank you for the clarification. So I'm gonna actually ask your son to share some of his music, and I'm gonna have him do it Acapulco, which is a cappella. And whatever song that you are interested in doing. And Mom, do you want to do the beat back on the song? No, I'm kidding. Because
you don't want me singing it at all. You don't want to hear Otis talk about what he thinks of my singing.
I haven't heard. Was he disappointed that you?
He said he did this interview with me when I was younger. And when I was back in my modeling days, and he said on camera, I'd rather hear a fat baby have flatulence, that's not the word he used, than hear me sing.
I'm glad you have a good sense of self not to take that
Oh,
badly.
you know what? When you go on, when you were doing that kind of work, like I don't get offended by stuff. I just laugh it off because it's funny. It's true. I mean, you can't be mad when people tell you the truth.
Well, you definitely made up for it in the looks department. How's that?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Are you better with your mom sitting there? Is she going to make you nervous?
I'm going to disappear.
Okay.
Do back home. He just performed that last week, but it was good to see you. Thank you.
It's so good to see you. We'll have you on again for sure. Thanks so much. That was delightful. That was an unexpected surprise and nice surprise. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing your mom with me again.
Yes, of course. Yes.
So give me the background to this song, like when you wrote it, how it came to you. I think there are people who are aspiring songwriters and performers. So weave into me what you think is a good process for a musician to come up with a song.
The process, has to come naturally. For me, and experience is also a big thing that impacts the process of writing. For me, when I write songs, I think of something. And sometimes I write the lyrics before the beat, but it's just, I have to feel it. And as I feel it, I think of an experience I had or something that's like emotional, and then I put that into the song.
Okay, so apply that to the one you're going to share.
So
how long ago?
So the one I'm about to share, Back Home, I always perform it in concert, and just performed it last week at the Ben Crump Awards. And this song is about a girl, but she's lost. And the chorus is, "It's been a little too long since you've been back home, running through the city with a half-charged phone." So she's lost with her friends, but she doesn't realize what the guy's trying to do for her. And I wrote that it's been about 2 years now. And I was just sitting on my couch. I came across the beat, and, I just listened to it a couple times. And sometimes, I get writer's block. So if you get writer's block, you just have to sit on it. You got to come back to it. It's no big deal. Just sit on it and, listen to it until you get it right. So I kind of was like, listen to the beat. And then I came up with the chorus. From past experiences, I used my experiences to come up with that chorus. So that's how the song came about.
Perfect. Sounds wonderful. And the name of the song is?
Back Home.
Back Home. Here we go.
Yes.
Here live on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the one and only Trace Austin with Back Home.
It's been a little too long since you've been back, running through that city with the half-charged phone, running for way too long, running for way too. It's been a little too long since you've been back home, running through that city with the half-charged, running for way too long, running for way too long.
Beautiful. Yeah. So is that Afro? Does it have that Afro beat behind it?
No, this one's more of a R&B, almost Neptunes. Pharrell and the Neptunes. It's kind of that sound, old school, early 2000s.
Beautiful. And then give me a contrasting, because you do so many genres. What's another one that goes to a very different sound, so I can show your versatility?
Another song that goes to a very different sound is Place for Me. So that's my island song, but kind of have an accent on it. So I'll give you a little, snippet of it.
Okay, perfect.
She's sexy. She texts me, come test me, arrest me. Knew I was freaky when you met me. She want me, jump on me. She need it, she lonely. No, you can call me when you want me. I like the way you wet your hair. I like those sexy clothes you wear. She holds me close and I don't care.
Fabulous. I'm gonna just go and look. Let's see, what's a good one? I see here Trace Austin, Imposter. Is that a good one to show?
Yes, Imposters is definitely a good one to show.
Okay, I'm
Imposters,
gonna do that.
it's
Let's
kind of like
see.
a cowboy song. It's really good though.
Wow. Okay. Because now you got me super curious, and we'll worry about the copyright later, which is the reason why I didn't want to show it in the first place. I didn't want us to get dinged, but I'll talk to your publicist and maybe we can get that taken care of so that I can show this. Here we go. And fantastic. Oh, there's your next one. Yay!
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get the right thing. Can you tell I like applause?
Yes, for sure.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad we showed that. I mean, you're
Yes,
great
thank
a cappella, but the artistry in the visual is also, do you have full control over the video part of it as well? What you want to show? Does that come into mind, or do you have someone help you with that?
So the video part, I do have a director that helps me with that. You know, he kind of comes up with the storyboard. For the most part, I know the storyline and kind of the location I want to film, kind of just laid out overall concept of the video. And I tell him, you know, he puts his own twist to it, which is really cool. He comes up with images, examples, and, you know, that's where the magic comes in. So
Yes, it is. So how do you feel when you watch yourself like that?
it's pretty cool. My favorite part about the videos is after I filmed them, seeing how they came out, you know, with all the edits, the locations of where we filmed and getting all the shots. I get so excited to see the actual video. So when it comes back to me, you know, I release it on YouTube, I release it on Vivo. Actually, that video got top 5 most popular videos on Vivo for the teen hip hop R&B charts. So when I see things like that, and you know, I see myself on those videos, it's just like, wow, this is actually me. You know,
That's awesome. What's the hardest and best part of being in the music industry or being a musician?
to be honest, I enjoy being a musician so much. There's much more bests than hard parts of being being a musician. Um, I would have to say, definitely being that I'm my grandfather's grandson, Otis Williams, I have to, I have to hold up the name. I have to always make music that's quality. Um, finding the right beats and staying consistent with my sound. I would say for the most part, that's easy for me, but sometimes, it can get a little hard, but I
Mhm.
always strive through it. So.
At what point do you bring your grandfather in to help you with the music? Like, do you show it to him after you've worked on it? And like, do you show him this finished version and ask him advice, or right from the beginning?
Well, sometimes in advance, I'll ask him things like I'll tell him a concept that I came up with or just an idea of a song. And, he'll give me his feedback. For the most part, I let him hear the songs after they're done. And, he gives me advice. He tells me what to do. Like one of my videos before it came out, I showed it to him. That was my back home video, the one I just sung. So
Yeah.
that was my back home video. And he told me, as an artist, I want you to be portrayed a certain way. I want you to have a certain image. So some of the things that are in the video, I don't want to be in there. And, I think you should take out because, he's always told me, I want you to be in a genre that appeals to everybody. Don't limit yourself. So
Mm.
told me on that video, he said, definitely be mindful of what you have because so you can appeal to everybody. So he definitely gives me, the best advice and guides me the right way.
And you followed his advice?
Oh, yes.
I'm
Yes, I definitely did.
so curious as to what was cut out.
Yeah. It was a while ago. It was like 2 years ago. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was, but I do remember going back and re-editing the video to make it, more to view to a broader audience.
Yeah. It sounds like that you take your grandfather's criticism um, knowing that he really wants the best for you.
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
Is it hard hearing criticism from him?
No, not at all, because he's telling me because he's already been through it. So I look at it, he's already been through it. He's been in the business 60 plus years. He knows all the ins and outs. So when he gives me criticism or gives me advice, I know that's just going to take me further. That's just going to help me be a better artist as well as a businessman. So
Fantastic. What advice do you give to aspiring musicians who don't have a grandfather who is the founder of the Temptations?
to aspiring musicians, I would say, always be consistent with your sound and don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Because it's, there's a lot of technology out. There's a lot of, promo things you can do. And, you put your mind to it, you could definitely do it. So don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it, and always strive and always, have that drive in you, have that hunger.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what's next? Well, actually, let's set some intentions. So I love this game. It's actually from the Law of Attraction, Abraham Hicks, is a good teacher that I would suggest. Not that you need it. You seem to already be in that positive vein, but I'm going to ask you, it's called, Wouldn't It Be Nice If? So these are things that you want to set intentions for. And you would say, wouldn't it be nice if, and then fill in that space. Ready?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be nice if?
I come out with a new album very soon and get a surprise feature.
Wouldn't it be nice if?
I get to work on a TV show.
Wouldn't it be nice if?
I get to do a collaboration with my grandfather.
Is there, and then I take a breath in. And so it is. And I see that, and I want that for you. And we'll see next time you come on how many of those have happened. pretty
Yeah.
much all of them, I'm sure, because you have a very bright future ahead of you. You have an amazing, beautiful present now. I wish you all the very, very, very best. Just curious, outside of your grandfather, who else would you like to do a collaboration with? And I ask you this, and I'm not planting, but
Mhm.
I've had Michael Jackson's nephew on my show, and I interviewed him, Jafar Jackson, who sounds an awful lot like Michael Jackson. I don't know if you saw that interview yet, but is there anyone that you would like to collaborate with outside of your grandfather?
Most definitely. One of the people that are on my dream collaboration list are Pharrell. I love Pharrell. You know, he's old school and new school. You know, he's did all the beats back in the 2000s, and even now he produces for a lot of the artists that you hear on the radio, and you know, a lot of the biggest, most big artists in the world. So, Pharrell, love Pharrell. Even my mom loves Pharrell.
I
So
love Pharrell.
the
He sings my a theme song, right?
yes.
Happy. That's my theme song.
Oh, wow.
So hey, I'm all for it. You tell him that Asian Opera absolutely endorses that deal.
Yes.
See what comes out of that. He absolutely. I love his music. There's so many really incredible, positive musicians out. Which again, like your mom said, this is the time for us for sure to do the light music. So anything, how do people find you and support you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at the Trace Austin. You can find me on all music platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Trace Austin. And I have an album out, and the first song is featuring the artist The Game. So you can find me traceaustinmusic.com, where you can see all my updates of what I have next.
Fantastic. I am so supportive and see the best for you. I'm so grateful that I got to meet you and connect with you. And anything I can do, anytime you're coming out with anything new, you just call me and we'll have you on to talk about what's new. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much, Marissa. I really appreciate it.
Thank you as well. And you know the drill. I'm going to ask you to do this. You ready? Peace
Yes.
in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. And this is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room with the grandson of Otis Williams, legendary Temptations founder, and soon to be legend of himself as he carries on the musical heritage that was started by his grandfather. I wish him the very best. You've been listening to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And it is here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5. And you can get this interview if you're just tuning in on my YouTube channel, Dr. Marissa. Thank you for joining in. Any last words you want to say?
Thank you, everybody. It's a blessing to be here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you, Marissa.
Thank you so much, Trace. Now go and have the best weekend ever.
Yes.